Hi everybody. It's been a while since you've seen me, so I am back with another read aloud for you. Guess what? I finally got back into the library that came in. So if you remember, I read a story out of this several months ago about Ing and Chang, I think is their names. It's in here. Anyway, that was about the Siamese twins who are in the circus. So I'm going to read you another story. It's Women's History Month, so I'm going to read you a story about Sarah Bernhardt. All right, you ready for this? It's called Break a Leg. You just never know what you're going to find when you tidy up. It began as a simple task of dusting the cobwebs off skulls and jarred fetuses. That was when the staff of Bordeaux University's medical school in Paris stumbled upon something odd, an amputated leg. But it wasn't just any leg. It was the leg of Sarah Bernhardt, the most famous actress of the 19th century. In a statement to the press, the Bordeaux University insisted, quote, "We never actually lost the leg. It was just forgotten," unquote. How Sarah Bernhardt's leg was forgotten is in a medical storage's, How Sarah Bernhardt's leg was forgotten in a medical school's storage room is a bit of a mystery. Let's start with the leg's owner. Sarah Bernhardt's life was dramatic well before she lost her leg. She watched her son be mauled by ferocious tigers. She murdered her lovers with hat pins and hatchets. Maybe we need to go back and learn more about that. That sounds kind of interesting. She was stabbed, poisoned, strangled, and burned to death, and then the curtain fell. That was her life on stage. Okay, we got it now. But her real life was just as theatrical. She was born in Breton, outside of Paris, in October 1844. It is unknown who her father was, but her mother was a Jewish girl from Amsterdam. As a child, Sarah was the kind of kid who always got her way by throwing her small body around in spasmodic tantrums. When that didn't work, she reverted to her usual flair for the dramatic. Once, when her mom insisted she eat her panade, a gruel made from bread and butter, Sarah swallowed black ink instead. She immediately became violently ill and screamed at her mother, quote, "It is you who have killed me," end quote. Her mother fainted. Sarah was never asked to eat another panade again. This is the picture they have. When Sarah was 9 years old, her mother decided to move her into a convent to straighten her up. One problem, Sarah didn't want to go. So she threw more tantrums, used foul language that we definitely can't repeat, slapped the nuns when they tried to brush her hair, and tried to run away. She is a hot mess express. Over time, she grew to love the convent, although she still threw her tantrums. She was given a small plot for a garden where she collected animals, crickets, lizards, and spiders. When her mother returned for Sarah, she said to the Mother Superior, quote, "You have mastered my little wild animal." "Oh no," cried the clever Mother Superior. "I have merely tamed her." Anyone who tried to cage Sarah's spirit didn't get very far. When Sarah was 15, her mother decided it was time for her daughter to marry. Whoa. I mean, I guess that was normal back in like the 1850s for people to get married that young. But can you imagine, like right now, you're a couple years away from getting married? No, thank you. When Sarah was 15, her mother decided it was time for her daughter to marry. Sarah would have none of it. Marriage meant someone could boss you around. Instead, she tossed her frizzy golden hair in the air, looked at the heavens with her flute-like voice, and proclaimed, "I will be a nun. I will." I just picture hair toss, check my nails. Anyway, it was a performance worthy of an Oscar. At least her mother thought so. The next day, Sarah began acting lessons at the Conservatoire acting school. It turns out that this was the right decision. Sarah Bernhardt went on to become the most beloved actress of her day. Death scenes were her specialty. Sometimes she faked her death so well that people thought she really died. Sarah had a morbid fascination with death. One of her favorite pastimes was to visit the Paris morgue to see the unclaimed bodies on display. Okay. To each is their own, right? People like their own things. All right. She owned a skull that she used as a letter holder and a pet skeleton named Lazarus. She just so special. Lazarus was named for the Christian biblical story of the man who rose from the dead. Obviously, Sarah's skeleton wasn't coming back to life anytime soon. Strangest of all, oh, she slept in a rosewood coffin lined with white satin. It looked comfy, but really freaked out her friends. I mean, we're reading it and I'm freaked out. The public couldn't get enough of the divine Sarah and her coffin sleeping shenanigans. The press followed Sarah's every move, gleefully reporting on her antics. And there were a lot of antics. So, there's old Lazarus himself. Sarah traveled with her own private zoo. At least 3 dogs, a parrot, a monkey, a cheetah, a few lion cubs, 7 chameleons, a boa constrictor, and an alligator named Ali Gaga. Some of her animals didn't fare so well. Ali Gaga ate one of the dogs, and the boa constrictor had to be shot when it ate the sofa pillows. Here's a picture. Oh my God. Okay. You guys need to check this book out. Okay, it is too good. All right, here we go. She was always covered in furs, scarves, veils, and jingling bells. Sometimes she wore a hat with a stuffed bat on it. A hard look to pull off, but not for Sarah. Her Paris fans, whom she called her beloved monsters. I'm feeling a little Lady Gaga vibes here. Okay, here we go. Her beloved monsters, adored Sarah so much they held a Sarah Bernhardt Day. Emperors and princes showered her with gifts. Queens were brought to tears by her performances. The novelist Victor Hugo was so enchanted with Sarah, he sent her a letter that read, "The tear which you drew from me belongs to you. I place it at your feet." He enclosed his letter with a tear-shaped diamond. Okay. Poet Oscar Wilde threw lilies at her feet and called her the greatest tragic actress of any stage. When Sarah toured in America, fans rushed at her, begging her for autographs. The new American custom of having a star sign her name on a piece of paper. When one adoring fan couldn't find ink, she cut her arm and used her own blood. Thomas Edison, the most famous inventor of his day, was utterly smitten with Sarah. Whoa. She visited him in his home in New Jersey, and he let her try out one of his new inventions, a recording device called a phonograph. In America, Sarah gave 150 performances in 51 cities. This grueling schedule would have exhausted most stars, but not Sarah. She had her own way of getting occasional breaks from the press. Sometimes, to avoid giving interviews, she would pretend to faint. Then, once the annoying reporter was gone, she would skip around the room. Her skipping days ended after a fall during the play La Tosca. She was supposed to fling herself from atop a castle wall into a mock suicide. Unfortunately, the mattress that was used to break her fall had been moved, and Sarah landed on the cold, hard floor, injuring her right kneecap. Over the years, Sarah's leg got worse and worse until amputation was the only option. Did Sarah throw one of her infamous tantrums? She didn't throw tantrums over things she couldn't change. In fact, she greeted the removal of her leg with enthusiasm. With the enthusiasm of a debutante attending her first ball. In one letter, she gushed, "So happy my leg is cut off tomorrow." After the surgery on February 22nd, 1915, the leg was immediately sent over to the Bordeaux Medical Facility, where the knee was dissected. The diagnosis was joint tuberculosis, which is a fancy way of saying Sarah's leg had become a fetid mass of decaying flesh. Legend has it that circus showman P.T. Barnum, which we had already kind of read that story about Chang and Eng, offered Sarah $10,000 for her amputated leg, to which Sarah replied, "If it's my right leg you want, see the doctors. If it's the left leg, see my manager in New York." She is such a boss. I like her. Let's see. Instead, the leg sat in storage. Why it was saved is anyone's guess. Perhaps autographs were not enough to remember the divine Sarah. Sarah was given a wooden leg and some crutches, but she preferred to be carried around in a covered deviant chair like a Byzantine princess. She continued to work, taking shorter roles and ones that didn't require her to throw herself from high places. Probably a good choice. When Sarah was 78 years old, her kidneys started to give out, and she took one to her bed. She took to her bed. Sorry, she didn't take her kidney to her bed. Okay. I mean, we wouldn't be surprised, right? Fans crowded outside her Paris apartment waiting for news. Always tragic to the end, Sarah wouldn't give them the satisfaction of dying quickly and quipped, "I will keep them hanging." And so she did, and always will. Here's her as the princess. And then the last part, It says, the leg still resides in Bordeaux University's medical school in France. Many historians have doubts about whether it is really Sarah's leg due to its missing label. DNA testing has yet to be performed to clear up any uncertainties. And that's the end of that fun little story. All right, it's called They Lost Their Heads. I have it in the library if you want to check it out. Better be quick because it'll go real fast. Bye.